the harbinger of ANC's waning dominance, the Siyanqoba rally. Intended as a resounding display of strength, the Siyanqoba, to conquer, rally, attended by a throng of 83,000 ANC supporters, was instead marred by a premature exodus as attendees streamed out before President Cyril Ramaphosa's address had even commenced. This mass departure has cast an ominous shadow over the ANC's prospects in Wednesday's pivotal elections, raising fears that the party that liberated South Africa may relinquish its majority grip for the first time since Nelson Mandela led it to victory in 1994. Should the ANC's vote share dip below 50%, necessitating a coalition government, the party will bear the brunt of the blame. Rampant corruption under Ramaphosa's predecessor, Jacob Zuma, has left a gaping void in the state's coffers. With nearly 40% of South Africans unemployed and basic public services either deficient or entirely lacking, wealth and power remain concentrated in the hands of an elite few. While poverty persists in extreme forms, rendering South Africa the most unequal society globally. It stands as one of the most perilous nations as well. Crime pervades every corner of the country, a constant topic of discussion for both black and white citizens, observed William Gumede, a political analyst who played a role in forging a pre-election coalition pact among opposition parties. It robs South Africans of their right to a fulfilling life, sapping the nation of its vitality. The progress achieved under Mandela and his successor, Thabo Mbeki, ground to a halt upon Zuma's ascent to power. Billions were pilfered from the state, leaving virtually every institution bankrupt, from the national airline to the railway agency. An official inquiry concluded that the ANC, under Zuma's leadership, permitted, supported, and enabled corruption. A generational divide is emerging. At Soweto's FNB Stadium, the venue that hosted the opening match of the 2010 Football World Cup as Soccer City, numerous older rally attendees lamented their children's lack of support for the ANC, despite being born into freedom. On the historic day of South Africa's first free election in 1994, girl Faith Dlamini was 9 months pregnant. While her fellow citizens patiently queued for hours to cast their votes, Dlamini was ushered to the front of the line. "I was treated like a dignitary," she recalled. Her daughter was born a fortnight later, the day after Mandela's inauguration. Now she is pursuing chartered accounting studies at Wits University. "My child is receiving a university education because of the ANC. As a domestic worker, I could never have afforded the fees." However, like many born free citizens, her daughter feels less allegiance to the party that has governed South Africa throughout her life. On Wednesday, she intends to vote for the EFF, a left-wing populist party led by Julius Malema. "I was furious with her," Dlamini remarked. "I implored her, the ANC is making your education possible." Theirs is not the only family riven by political differences. Mary Moniweka, a 58-year-old ANC official in Shishwan, has encountered similar discord with her daughter. "It pains me deeply," she confessed. Moniweka lifted her trousers to reveal a bullet wound sustained during the Soweto uprising of 1976. "She fails to comprehend the significance of our struggle," she said. Moniweka remains uncertain about her daughter's voting preference. "It's a secret," she chuckled. Aside from the EFF, Mandela's party is likely to lose votes to a new entity formed by Zuma, uMkhonto, Sizwe, which bears the name and emblem of the ANC's former paramilitary wing. Voters are not short of alternatives, with 52 parties on the ballot. From the ANC, the most prominent is the Democratic Alliance, DA, which has earned a reputation for its comparatively effective governance of Cape Town and the Western Cape Province. At a DA rally held at a far smaller venue in Soweto last Wednesday, a markedly younger crowd had assembled. There was palpable anger toward the ANC, devoid of the lingering loyalty displayed by older black South Africans. Our children consume contaminated water and go to bed famished, lamented April Malobi, a 36-year-old who attended the rally with his twin sister, Paulina, and their nephew, Thabo. All we seek is employment from the government. Nothing more, nothing less. Paulina recounted waking at 3 a.m. to unsuccessfully join a job queue. Thabo enumerated the various qualifications he had obtained at school. I possess numerous certificates, but they have proven worthless, said the 28-year-old. He left school 8 years ago and has been unemployed ever since. Given the opportunity, he would pursue a career as a private investigator, he explained, recounting tales of corrupt officials and unscrupulous politicians. However, the DA continues to struggle with the perception of being a party dominated by white individuals. Last week's rally was attended primarily by black attendees, but behind the scenes, where party staff and politicians mingled, the proportion of white individuals was far higher. Back at the ANC rally, amidst stalls peddling hats, shirts, and t-shirts, adorned in the party's yellow, green, and black colors, many emblazoned with the visages of long-departed liberation icons, stood Stephen Serapezo, a 62-year-old housing official from Johannesburg who awaited the arrival of friends. He acknowledged that the ANC had wronged the people during Zuma's tenure. Nevertheless, he asserted that the party was undergoing a process of renewal, emphasizing, all the corrupt elements have been purged. He cited the government's stance on Gaza, particularly its decision to prosecute Israel before the International Court of Justice, as evidence of the ANC's commitment to global justice. Should the ANC require a coalition arrangement, Serapezo would favor an alliance with the DA, which he believes shares similar economic principles. However, he acknowledged that this view is not widely held at the rally. They would not accept it, he said, gesturing toward the crowd. Their perception of the DA is that it is a white party, period. They do not consider whether there are any shared values. Quote, despite the dwindling numbers, Serapezo expressed optimism for the future of his party and his country. We are making progress, and there is cause for hope. There is no room for despondency. Quote,